Good morning. My name is Jack Ortez. I'm 45 years old. I'm born and raised in Modesto, California. Just take some time here today to share my testimony today with you to glorify our King of Kings. The Lord, He came into my life when I was 40 years old. I was walking in sin, just a life of drug addiction, alcohol, pretty much a little bit of everything. Um, had a kid when I was 14. Had to become a man early. When I was 5, got hit by a car. Was in the hospital for 9 months. Learned to walk again when I was 7. My mom died when I was 9. I was mad at the world. Uh, just, uh, just a baby kid, a kid that just people would talk to me and scold me, and it would just go in one ear and out the other. Um, Mom died when I was 9. Moving around, going from school to school, been to a lot of schools, and just mad at the world. Um, Nobody could talk to me or tell me because, I just had a big head. And I just wanted to do my own thing. I was mad at the world, like I said. I didn't know what to do. I was young. I had a kid when I was 14. And just, I was so young. I was just trying to appease myself, I guess. And, my kids were, I had another kid when I was 16. And I got into drugs real early, 13 years old, smoking meth, uh, selling drugs, stealing, robbing people. Um, Finally made it, made it out of the, made it out of the mud and the muck, but I was still doing drugs and stuff. And it's crazy how life comes full circle. Just sometimes God speaks to you and you don't realize it, and just goes in one ear and out the other. I had a sister that prayed for me. She was with me when I got hit by a car. I was holding her hand. She always prayed for me, and she would call, and I'd be in the midst of doing my thing, and she would say, "Brother, have you accepted the Lord in your life?" And I would say, "No, no, I haven't." And she's like, "Well, let me pray for you." And I'm like, "Okay." She would pray for me, and I'd have the phone in my ear, and I'd point it away while she was talking. And then I'd be like, "Okay, love you," and just hang up, and then just go back to doing what I was doing. But the whole time she was interceding for me, and I had no clue of what that even meant then. And later on down the line, I was still doing the same stuff. I was probably like 37 to 39, between those ages. And I was making it, just, I was barely making it, struggling to feed my family, struggling to be the person that I wanted to be, that I thought I wanted to be, with money and cars and all that stuff. And in the meantime, my two oldest kids had moved out. They have their own life going, and they have kids, and I still had three youngins at the house living with us. and I'm just sitting there doing my thing. And they're, my youngins, they're great. They're good in school. They do good in school. They go to football. They go to cheerleading every day. They're giving it their all. They're doing great. And one day my wife goes and gets the kids, and she brings them home. And I'm sitting in the living room with a couple of my friends, and we're sitting there smoking. And my boys walk in, and my daughter walks in, and they walk through this big old billow of smoke. As they walk through, you can see the smoke turning like that. And I felt so convicted then. I was mad at myself, and I said, "Hey, you guys need to get out of here. While smoking in here, you need to go to your room or go outside and go play." And they just got done going to school all day. 2 hours of hardcore practice in the pouring rain, and I felt so convicted when they walked out of the room. I felt like, dang, like, what kind of dad am I? These guys are striving to do their best, giving it their all, going to school all day long, coming home doing hours of homework after hours of practice. And the next day, that was on a Thursday, the next day was Friday, and I woke up, and I believe it was the Holy Spirit that just took care of me, and God spoke to me, and I didn't know. I didn't know it because I wasn't saved. I didn't know that He spoke to me. I just had this feeling inside of me. And I told my wife, I said, "I quit smoking weed today." And my wife said, "Yeah, right. I've been smoking since I was 11 years old. And any other kind of drug I can get my hands on to deal with my mom's death." I was mad at the world. I had no clue what was going on, so she said, "Yeah, right." And started giving away all my stuff right then and there, throwing my stuff away, all the stuff that I had collected for 40 years. Started giving it away, throwing it away, getting rid of it. And I talked to my older kids, and they had no, they didn't have no faith. They didn't think I could quit smoking weed because I had been smoking weed for so long. And so that was that on Friday. I literally quit smoking weed one day. Then the next day, some friends had came over, and they would go to church sometimes in our life when we was a little bit younger, and they would ask us, "Hey, you guys want to go? You want to go?" They kept on asking us. Finally, we said, "Yeah, we're gonna go." We went a few times, and I just felt like I wasn't good enough to be there. I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. And then that next day after the Friday, they came over and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna do a float for hope," is what it's called. A float for hope. We're gonna float the river and raise some money for Jesus. And when we get done floating the river, Pastor Hector is gonna be out there baptizing people. And I said, "I want to go." And again, my wife was, not that she didn't trust me or trust in me. She just didn't. She wasn't sure if I was gonna stay on that path. And she's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's really. So the next day we float the river for a couple 3 hours, 3.5 hours or so. We it was a grueling. We had to get out and walk sometimes, but it was good. It gave me time by myself to think. about what was going on, and I we get to the end, and there's like a boat path where you walk up at the river, and we walk up there, put our rafts up there, and as we're doing that, Pastor Hector comes walking down. He says, all right, Jack, we're gonna do your baptism." I was nervous. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know. He's like, "Well, come on out here." And I told him, like, "Hey, you gonna be able to pull me out of this water? I'm a big guy, you know what I mean?" He's kind of chuckled, and he said, "I got you. God's got you." And so we get out in the water, and I'm standing there, and he's explaining to me what giving your life to the Lord is and what baptizing is. And so he explains all that to me, and I look up, and it's my son and my daughter-in-law walking down the ramp with my grandkids. And just felt really like I wanted to cry. I was happy about it, that my grandkids were going to be able to see that I was giving my life to the Lord so I can be an example to them in their lives. So I got baptized right there in the river. I got dunked, came up out of the water. Before I got dunked, I was shivering, I was cold. We'd been on the river for a while. It was a cloudy day. And I came out of the water, and I was just, I just felt like something came over me. I had no feeling. I wasn't cold no more. Come walking out of the water, my grandkids come up, hugging me, "Papa, I love you." And it was probably one of the greatest days of my life. To be an example for my grandkids, to see that their papa's, giving his life to the Lord, and kind of explain that to them, what was going on. And it was an awesome day. Got to spend time with family and friends and pray. And like I said, it was probably one of the greatest days of my life. And fast forward a year later, I joined the Soldiers of the Cross, and the Lord, He blessed me with a bunch of brothers, God-fearing brothers, that I'm thankful and grateful for, to hold each other accountable for His glory, to get out there to push the gospel, to get out there and save the rest of God's children, because we're all God's children. And just thinking back, like, I was so deceived in my life, so deceived by the devil and all his tricks, and I'm just so glad that I can see that now, that deceitfulness. I can discern it, and we got a great group of men, and we go out and we go different countries, praying for people, bringing them to Christ. I wouldn't change that for anything in the world. I love my brothers, and this whole walk with Jesus is all about love. Love your neighbor, love one another. I'm just thankful for the Lord and what He's done in my life. And if you're out there and you're listening to this video and you're on the fence about giving your life to the Lord and walking with the Lord, I recommend you do that, because it's a life changer. He loves you. He's probably called you once or more, once, twice, three times, and he wants you to come to him, and he wants to love on you. And he wants you to do the right thing, and he wants you to spread his gospel. As Christians, that's what we're called to do. So, like I said, if you're out there listening, take a chance, take that first step, and let God do the rest. God bless you.